Hello friends! Today I'm going to show you how to draw this leafy holiday wreath, and you're not going to believe how easy it is.
I've also got a free download for you, so be sure to stay tuned till the end of the video.
Let's jump right in. I will be drawing in the Procreate app on the iPad Pro, and my canvas size is set to 3000 pixels square at 300 dpi. Now I like to work with big files, but you can set your canvas to 1500 pixels square if you prefer. Just make sure to keep your DPI at 300 so you have a nice high resolution file. We're going to start with a pencil sketch. Turn on drawing guides, then edit the guides to make the grid nice and large so it's easy to determine the vertical and horizontal center points. Now draw a circle, and remember, if you leave your pencil down then tap the screen, the quick shape feature will turn it into a perfect circle. Use the grid to make sure it's centered on your canvas. And if your circle is really big, reduce the size a little because you want to have some space between the circle and the edges of your canvas. Now reduce the opacity on that layer and create a new layer above. Go to the Actions menu, tap Edit Drawing Guide, and this time choose Symmetry. Then tap Options, select Quadrant, and make sure that Rotational Symmetry is turned on. You should now have 4 quadrants on your canvas, and we will only need to draw in one quadrant, and the Symmetry tool will fill in all the other sections for us. I'm going to start in this upper left quadrant, but it really doesn't matter which section you start in. Start drawing a few leaves and make sure to loosely follow the curve of the circle. Draw your leaves in different shapes and sizes, and you'll want to make sure that everything flows nicely with that circular shape. You can make your wreath as skinny or as wide as you want, so keep adding leaves until you're happy with the size and the shape. To bring a little energy to the composition, you can have a few smaller leaves or even stems and berries sticking out here and there. You just don't want any of the shapes to be too angular, as that will disrupt the flow of the composition and prevent the eye from moving around. Keep in mind that the sketching stage is a time for experimentation and exploration, so try different things to see what works and just erase what doesn't work. Alright, there's the quick and easy pencil sketch. Now we can make a plan for our colors. Create a new layer below the pencil sketch and make sure that Drawing Assist is turned on. I have a few different shades of green in this palette, and I'm just going to quickly plot out where I want each color to go. It really doesn't matter what brush you use for this. You can use a 6B pencil. Right now I'm using the dry ink brush. You just want to get some quick marks down. Doing a rough color sketch like this is a really helpful way to ensure that your color placement feels balanced. You don't want too many leaves of the same color clustered together in one area.
I've actually found that this process helps to speed up my workflow because I can go into the inking stage with a clear plan in place.
Alright, once you're happy with how that's looking, you can go to the Actions menu, tap Share, choose JPEG, and then tap Save Image to save it to the camera roll on your iPad. Now go back to the Actions menu, select Canvas, and then turn on Reference to bring up the reference window. When the window appears, the canvas view is usually on by default, and that shows you what is currently on your canvas. So as you can see, if I change things around, those changes will appear in the reference window in real time, but that's not what we want. So tap here where it says Image, and then tap Import to pull up your image gallery. Then select the color sketch you just saved. We're using a reference image because we're going to ink each group of leaves on a different layer. So all the dark green leaves will be together on the same layer, all the light green leaves on another layer, and so on.
I like to work like this because it gives me the flexibility to switch out colors if I need to, which you'll see later in the video.
Let's start inking. Turn off your color sketch, reduce the opacity on the pencil sketch layer, and then add a new layer above. Make sure to turn on Drawing Assist on that new layer. I'm going to get started with the dark green leaves. I'm using the dry ink brush, and I'm manually filling in each shape rather than using color drop because I want that lovely texture that this brush creates. Another reason why I love using this brush is the dry ink brush is tapered, and the size variation in the stroke lends itself well to drawing leaves. Now for the next color. Create a new layer above and turn on Drawing Assist. Then ink all the leaves in this color together on this layer. Keep going with this process until all the leaves have been inked. By the way, it's a personal preference of mine to do all of my final inking above my sketch layer, just because I like to see my line work clearly without being obstructed by the sketch. But I know that some people prefer to ink below the sketch layer so that their sketch is always visible. There's really no right or wrong answer here, just do whatever feels most comfortable for you. When that's all done, turn off the sketch layer, and you can also close the reference window. We're now going to add different details to each leaf group to help give them a bit more personality. Go to the first group, make sure that Drawing Assist is still on, then turn on Alpha Lock. For this group, I'm going to add a few line details. I'm still using the dry ink brush, but I've reduced the size so that I can make nice thin lines, and I've also chosen a lighter shade of green. For this next layer, I'm going to try adding a little tonal variation to the leaves. So choose the wet acrylic brush from the painting section of the brush library, then choose a color that's a little darker than your leaves on this layer. Remember to turn on Alpha Lock and double check to make sure that Drawing Assist is still on. Now add a little of that darker color to these leaves. Remember, we're aiming to create variations in tone, so some areas will be darker than others, and you don't want to completely cover the original color. And I think I'll go ahead and add a few lines to these leaves as well. Continue adding details to each of the layers and just switch it up a little bit from layer to layer to keep it interesting. Alright, I like how this is looking so far. I just have one more layer and it's these leaves right here. But I think there's not enough difference in color between these leaves and the ones on this layer. So I'm going to change the colors on this last layer of leaves. To do that, I can just turn on Alpha Lock, choose a new color, then hit Fill Layer, and all the leaves on that layer change color. This is why it's so handy to have everything separated on different layers, because it gives you the flexibility to make these changes very easily. I'm just going to play around with this a little bit until I find a color that works well. Alright, I think that works a little bit better. And lastly, I'm going to fill a couple of these dead spaces with a few little extra details. And here's how it turned out. If you decide to try this tutorial and share it on Instagram, be sure to tag me in the image so I can see your art and feature it. I'm always thrilled to see how you guys interpret the tutorials, like these artists who did a great job with last week's candy cane drawing.
Thanks so much for sticking around till the end. Now here are the goodies I promised you.
I made a few wallpapers for you to make your phone feel festive for the holidays. You can download them for free by going to giagraham.com/wreathwallpaper. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.